Hello, it's astrology time. A look at what's happening this weekend in the stars in astrology. What's the tone of the weekend? What's going to be happening? Well, we start in the day really with a sign change. 7:29 a.m. UK time, the moon entered Taurus, so we've just come away from that Aries experience, which is kind of very ram-like energy. In fact, lots of energy behind what was going on the last couple of days. But now we're in Taurus, and a Taurus moon is a great time for taking either a complete rest or taking a serious interest in getting things done. It's entirely up to you, and it really depends a lot on how you feel. So even if you just you think you should be getting things done, but you really feel like having a rest, take the rest. That's my advice, basically. Now that came in 7:29 a.m. UK time, so it was actually 11:30 p.m. last night, Thursday the 27th, on the Pacific coast of the States and Canada. 2:30 a.m. today Eastern. So it's a new experience of Taurus. We're still in the first quarter of the moon. That is actually not going to change until the 2nd of March, which, let's see, is actually going to be Monday, and I'll be back on Sunday with a rundown of the week ahead, so we can keep this nice and simple, because it's kind of quite a complicated day today. The moon is about 18% full as I speak, and she is on her way up to new moon, and up to full moon. But that is quite some distance away. We've got to get through first quarter first. You would have to really, wouldn't you? Because it's first quarter. But there we are. I could actually say that this video is really just about today's astrology. But it is the energy that kicks off the weekend. It's just that loads and loads is happening today, Friday the 28th, setting the scene for the weekend. The moon stays in Taurus right through until Sunday, and that's going to be 11:21 a.m. Sunday when she enters Gemini, 2:21 p.m. Eastern, and here in UK not until 7:21 in the evening. But that's going to be the influence on Sunday night, as we're all kind of, trying to rest or maybe even sleep off the weekend with dreamy thoughts of going back to work on Monday. That's a great thought, isn't it? Put that out of your mind. It's the weekend. It's time to relax. Okay, now then, so Friday the 28th, all this is happening. There's loads happening. The sun in 9 degrees Pisces, right? So that's the Pisces influence with the sun. The sun is all about how we rule our lives, how we kind of regulate things, how we like our lives to be, basically. And it's in Pisces at the moment. So there's a lot of compassion, a lot of friendliness. It's quite a good aspect, this, because the sun in Pisces is semi-square Pluto, and Pluto is in Capricorn, so it's a nice grounded thing. Whenever you get the sun square Pluto, you get kind of there's a certain amount of hidden stuff that's going on with our own self-image. It's the things inside ourselves, within ourselves, that we don't want to show to the whole world, that get affected by this. And it's actually taken us in a really positive direction because of that Pisces influence. And it's not likely to run out of control in any sense at all, because of Pisces being in Capricorn, and Capricorn, it's just, it's a great earth sign. It really keeps things grounded in a positive way, and it syncs up with the rest of the astrology that's going on in the background, because many planets actually started 2020 in Capricorn, or have entered Capricorn as we've gone on in the early part of the year. Okay, so that is Sun semi-square Pluto, basically. And so then the next thing that's going to happen, right, 7:50 a.m. UK time, so it's already happened by the time I've got this video out. Mercury also in Pisces, semi-square Jupiter, and Jupiter's in Capricorn too, so this is a grounded one also. Mercury, of course, is retrograde at the moment, and so it's kind of quite difficult to call anything that Mercury is going to do. But I never want people to worry about Mercury retrograde. It does seem to worry people a lot, and there's no need really. It brings us lessons. It's a case of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but I don't think it's going to be killing anyone this weekend. With Mercury semi-square Jupiter, though, the pattern of the weekend before us is going to involve a certain amount of struggling to find kind of mental freedom and actually to grow the mind, get out of restricted thought patterns, that kind of thing. And that is a very positive thing to do, actually. And if you find yourself in a situation where you're trying desperately to hang on to the old ways, just let go. Go with the flow, okay? Things are going to be a whole lot better that way. So, that is Mercury semi-square Jupiter. Also today, Friday the 28th, 10:52 a.m, round about the time I'm actually doing this, Venus quintiles the true node. Now, Venus is what we all know quite a lot about with Venus. Very positive in terms of love and money when she's smiling on us. And this looks like quite a good alignment, actually. Quintile is a minor aspect, but it really does make a difference, you know. And the North Node is all about where we're going. The South Node is the past, the North Node is the future in terms of our life path and in terms of where we're actually heading. And it looks like being quite positive, that really does. Mercury is retrograde, etc. And that is why, you know, I'm always saying don't worry too much about Mercury retrograde, because there are always other things going on in the stars, in the heavens with the planets. Juno is retrograde at the moment, for example, and Juno being the goddess of marriage, or as we could look at it now, very serious relationships. That actually began in Libra, and I think it's going to end in Libra as well. I haven't got it in front of me because there's so much going on today. I'm like washed out with stuff to read. No, that threatened to cause a lot of problems for a lot of people. In reality, there were quite a few glitches in relationships when that actually happened earlier in February. But, you know, I don't see any marriages breaking up or anything around me. I've done a few readings for people who are concerned. But, you know, the worst doesn't tend to happen with astrology, because astrology gives you some kind of warning, some kind of way forward. So there we go. Venus quintile the true node, very positive indeed. Also today, February the 28th, 2020, now 4:50 p.m. UK time, so 8 hours before that Pacific, 5 hours before that Eastern. Mercury, retrograde Mercury, at it again. In Pisces, of course, is going to semi-sextile Chiron, and Chiron is in 3 degrees of Aries, so there's kind of a bit of a play-off there, a bit of ram-like energy. So I'm not saying things are going to get negative, that's not the case at all, but if things start to feel like they're not going the right way, find something positive to do if you possibly can. That's always the way to go with that. Okay, so now Mercury semi-sextile in Chiron. Well, Chiron has a lot to do with healing and the sort of the wounded nature of the healers. So a good crystal to work with today and this weekend generally would actually be peridot. I say this applies all weekend because there's nothing else much happening until the 3rd of March, apart from the moon alignment changing. So these things are really, they're setting the scene right through Monday as we go into March, as March marches in, if you will. Anyway, curiosity tends to develop when Chiron and Mercury are sextile one another. There's also, you know, there's a possibility that it could be quite humorous, it could be quite a lot of fun, but that depends how willing you are to kind of paint a smile on your face and, you know, push yourself to enjoy life a bit. Sometimes we've got to make the effort. But, you know, common sense is worth applying. You know, that's boring, isn't it? I don't really want to get into common sense too much, but let's all be sensible. Hey, why not? Right, so cracking on with this, Venus in Aries is going to square Pluto. That's at 5:08 p.m. UK UTC. So, you know, 8 hours before that Pacific, 5 hours before that Eastern. Venus square Pluto. Now then, that aspect is potentially quite difficult. You've got to really think positive when that's happening. Okay, positive thinking does seem to be very much the key to making the best of this weekend. You tend to notice this Venus-Pluto square thing going on in relationships a lot, where relationships are romantic. And of course, Venus is symbolic of love and money, so those things are indicated as well. Now, a square to Pluto is not a bad thing. It can throw up a certain amount of confusion, but it's really not a bad thing. You know, none of this is. Forewarned is forearmed, as I'm always trying to say, you know. So keep it cheerful, you know. It's a bit like those games where you've got to fly an aeroplane. If you keep the nose above the horizon, you know, you're going to keep on going. It's going to be great. If you let your nose go below the horizon, not so. You've got to correct that or you're going to crash sooner or later. And nobody wants to crash. And nobody is going to crash, of course, because you've been watching my Astro Weather post. And that's pointing everything in the right direction. I seriously hope. Leave me a comment. Let me know how it feels. Let me know how it goes over the weekend. Subscribe to my channel. Tap the bell. Blah, blah, blah. Loads of readings on there. But there is one more thing to mention. Mercury, retrograde Mercury in Pisces is going to sextile Uranus. And Uranus is in Taurus at the moment. Now, Mercury sextile Uranus tends to bring exciting news in, and conversations can be very stimulating and can focus on the future, which is a fantastic thing. Not necessarily that easygoing because of Mercury being retrograde, and that might be the area to look out for Mercury going retrograde and problems possibly coming in there. But you know, the news, generally speaking, should be exciting. Let's hope it's good news and not exciting in a negative way. But conversations, you know, really looking at the future. It's a great time for making friends as well, especially if those friends are from different backgrounds to your own. So that's all going on Friday the 28th. And of course, the moon entering Taurus as well. Taurus moon continues right through Saturday. And then on Sunday the 1st, we've got about a 4 hour, about 3.5 hours actually, about 3.5 hour void of course period. That's starting 7:52 a.m. Pacific, 10:52 a.m. Eastern. So actually about 8 minutes to 4 in the UK afternoon, the void of course starts. And that's going to be 3.5 hours on Sunday, when we don't really want to be doing anything to attract any new action to ourselves. So if you're working or if you're out there making things happen on Sunday, that void of course time isn't really the time to be actually actively making things happen. If you can help it, you know, if you can't help it, sod it, go with the flow. It's going to be fine, I'm telling you. Moon is going to enter Gemini then, 11:21 a.m. Pacific, 2:21 p.m. Eastern. Here in UK, that is going to be 7:21 in the evening. The Gemini moon coming in and everything that goes with that. But I will be here again on Sunday the 1st with more astrology, taking a look at the week ahead. I'm here absolutely every evening, usually around about 5:45 p.m. in UK time. So, you know, late morning Pacific, mid-afternoon Eastern. I always post a tarot video. That's the way it's going at the moment. And my tarot videos seem to be getting a lot of attention at the moment. I'm very grateful to everyone who watches them, comments and subscribes, and the thumbs up and stuff really helps. Anyway, that's it for this weekend ahead of us. It's not looking like a bumpy ride at all, actually, as long as you kind of keep smiling. And as I was saying, keep your nose above the horizon. That's the way to look. That's where the future is. The North Node is doing great things. Mercury's messing around with us a bit. But Venus is in the mix and Venus is helpful. So that's all pretty good, really, eh? Have a fantastic weekend, folks. Thumbs up, please, if you've enjoyed this one. Leave me a comment. We will share the journey. That's a great thing to do. Share me around social media if you possibly can. And, you know, subscribe. Tap that bell if you would. Thank you very much, everyone who's subscribed. It's much appreciated. If I can just get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm on 809 as I speak, getting very close. If I get to 1,000 subs, it's going to be much easier for me to do live videos and actually get those going. I'm going to try and do 1 or 2 of those anyway as we go through this weekend. But hey, do have a good one. Take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. Links to good things are down below there. Support me on Patreon if you will. That would be fantastic. That would help me do a better job. Twitter me. Join the Facebook page. The links are all down there. And email me at 35and83@gmail.com if you would like a reading. I've got a special offer all this weekend through until Monday on readings. Psychic reading, tarot reading, chakra reading, oracle reading. Whatever you want, let me know. That's what I'm here for. 35and83@gmail.com. Meanwhile, thanks again for watching, my friends, and I'll see you again on Sunday, if not later tonight, with a tarot reading. Okay, have a good one. Peace.